Good morning.
Hello everyone, good morning.
Pleased to meet you.
Hello everybody.
Welcome people. Welcome to our presentation today. Today we have a real treat for you. Today we are going to discuss the implications of blockchain technology in the sale and purchase of land and the contracts used for those transactions. Yes, there's always one. Okay, if you can all turn off your mobile phones please, I will hand over to Peter so the fun can begin.
A conveyance is the legal process of transferring the ownership of a property from one person to another. Say, for example, you want to buy a house. You find a house you like. You might negotiate on the price for a little while, but once you and the seller agree, you sign a contract. From here, the legal searches begin. We will need to know if there are any government plans to build community infrastructure such as roads, electrical power lines, water pipelines, and so on, or if there is any money owing on the property that we don't know about. These searches may reveal something that makes you decide you no longer want to buy the property. After all, who would want to spend all their money buying a house that is only going to be knocked down to build a road? This is also the time where inspections can be done to ensure there are no structural or pest issues with the building. In Shattuck and Associates and Parramatta City Council, checks to identify a future road were not done properly. In Giju Proprietary Limited and Central Highlands Regional Council, the council zoning checks during conveyancing were not done properly. After all this, the legal documents are prepared, the money is paid, and then the name on the certificate of title to the property is formally changed. Currently, this process is all done manually and is labour intensive. However, like everything else these days, we are going electronic. The new system is known as e-conveyancing, which is progressively being rolled out across Australia in stages. So what is e-conveyancing? Put simply, it is a process where settlement takes place electronically through an online exchange system called Property Exchange Australia, also known as PEXA. While the electronic system cannot do everything, it does allow for documents to be prepared and signed electronically and for the transfer of money to occur electronically. It also allows for the formal documents to be submitted that will transfer the ownership. With the demands of today's society, we are now looking at new technologies where security over the internet is vital. This has led us to the consideration and development of blockchain technology, which was first seen in the digital currency Bitcoin. So what is blockchain technology? A blockchain is a type of distributed ledger comprised of unchangeable, digitally recorded data in packages called blocks.
So what is a distributed ledger?
I'm glad you asked. A distributed ledger is simply a record of who owns what shared over the internet. Bitcoin was the first, and it remains the most widely used example of a public ledger. In theory, anyone with the Bitcoin software possesses the ledger, and anyone who wishes to transfer Bitcoin can add a transaction to the ledger. So to put this in context, the ledger would be the record of who owns the land. Anyone with permission to access that record could see the information, however, would not be able to change or edit that information. These digitally recorded blocks of data are stored in a linear chain. Each block in the chain contains the data, which is encrypted. Think of it as a unique digital fingerprint. These blocks of data draw upon the previous block in the chain. This ensures all data in the overall blockchain has not been tampered with and remains unchanged. Okay, let's try and break that down with a demonstration. Blockchains store information across a network of personal computers, making them not just decentralized, but also distributed. These computers hold bundles of records submitted by others known as blocks in a chronological chain. The blockchain uses cryptography to ensure records cannot be counterfeited or changed by anyone else. So, is this technology compatible with the conveyancing process? Let's examine what it has to offer and the implications of this technology for sale and purchase of land contracts. A distributed ledger, or blockchain as it is also known, is an emerging technology with enormous potential. We will discuss some advantages and disadvantages that may be identified when applying this technology to the process of conveyancing. Currently, we are moving from a manual system of conveyancing to e-conveyancing, which would eliminate the need for paper documentation, thus streamlining the process, as the need for using postal services would no longer be required. The shift towards a blockchain-based technology promises an even faster process, where, for example, it could be envisioned that the requirements of some current third parties involved in the process, such as banks, may become redundant. Imagine a transaction where documents, money, and ownership of your land are instantly, securely, and digitally transferred as easily as buying a Mars bar. Current systems of conveyancing, including e-conveyancing, still require manual processes to enter data, which provide a number of opportunities for transactional errors. To correct this requires manual intervention, which is time-consuming and costly. Previously, conveyancing was susceptible to fraud through a number of ways, including identity theft, misleading victims into signing documents, or forging signatures. The concept of e-conveyancing has made this much more difficult, where blockchain technology could eliminate it completely. The concept of information needing to be correct before the next link in the chain is installed and digital currency that nobody else can access sounds like science fiction, but this new technology is bringing the future to today.
One of the key benefits of distributed ledger technology is its facilitation of transparency and accountability, in part due to the persistence and persuasiveness of its transaction record.
Hi, Tony. If it's transparent, how do we make sure that personal information is kept confidential?
Good question. Thank you for asking. This will be one of the challenges this new technology will have. People and companies need to know that their private information remains private, and the answer will be in the encrypted software the system will use. These distributed ledgers should be able to be configured in such a way as to ensure data is only revealed to those who should be seeing it, so it will be likely that both public and private distributed ledgers could be created. With the emergence of this new blockchain technology, if it was to be implemented into the purchase and sale of land contracts via e-conveyancing, a number of questions will need to be asked, including, do we have the right laws in place to control it? Who will regulate it? Is this technology leapfrogging the speed at which legislation can be created to govern it? Will a land contract be governed the same way as it previously did? If a blockchain transaction took place between states, would the parties be regulated by the same standard? These are some of the many questions to ponder upon, but it is likely that everything would be arranged so that it is business as usual. The existing laws governing land sales will still exist. The existing laws for registering land titles will still exist. The courts will still be able to assist in disputes where the execution of the contract was not in line with the parties' intentions. Further to that, consumer protection legislation such as the Competition and Consumer Act 2010 will still apply. There will no doubt be an evolution of laws to account for any uptake of this technology, and both state and national standards would need to be considered to ensure, if taken up in Australia, we will have an effective governance framework. However, if the technology is proven, these hurdles will be overcome.
Currently, when we purchase a piece of land, there is the statutory guarantee of title under the Land Title Act. In the event there are any issues surrounding the registration process, you have an effective insurance policy. This insurance policy is what gives confidence to our current title system. In keeping this in mind, if we were to adopt a new technology such as blockchain, it could be envisioned that at least until the security of this technology is proven and has gained the confidence of the public, a statutory guarantee would need to remain. Now, with all this talk of new technology, let's not forget about the poor old lawyers who may lose work in the area of conveyancing and have their annual salaries reduced. Where is the justice in that? This new technology may be advantageous to the general public in that services provided by a lawyer would not be as labour intensive, and as such, clients may expect the cost to be lower. As for those poor old lawyers, the legal profession will need to be innovative and move with the times. It could be conceived that this new technology would generate an entire new industry for lawyers to be involved in.
Excellent.
Australia has a reliable and robust land administration system. It would be hard to put forward an argument to change this system at present. However, it may be a different case for third world countries who lack the money and resources to build a system like Australia. Currently, countries like Ghana, Honduras, and in particular Sweden, are undergoing trials using blockchain technology for land administration as we speak. In Australia, it may be difficult for land administrators to embrace this technology unless there was a major shift in the way that land is administered and it is proven to be reliable over time. Having said that though, it is possible that the distributed ledger that blockchain technology provides will streamline and deliver additional security against corruption that the conveyancing process currently faces, and of course, at a much cheaper price. Okay people, I'd like to finish up today with a little exercise. Please write down 3 points you take away from today's presentation. Come on, don't be shy.